Sean and Brad as they talk about sports and share a beer. From the east coast of Canada to the west coast of the United States. Over to you, boys.
Everybody, hey, what's good with you? Sean and Brad, Guys Beer Sports, back once again. Sean, good morning.
How you doing, man?
Doing well, or afternoon, or wherever you are. Happy good morning, happy anniversary, happy birthday, whatever you're celebrating. We're with you in that, so let's get to it. First, I'd like to thank our sponsors, Bodega Brawl. First off, they're launching out this weekend, September the 10th. Portland Comic Con is where you can get them. First off, they've got merchandise. They've got the game coming out. Launched on their website. You can get their first 100 individually numbered packets starting on Friday. I guess maybe you'll hear this after the 10th, so maybe you'll miss your shot, but go check them out. Get on the pre-order list. Help our friends at Bodega Brawl. Thanks for your support. Flyers Brewery and Restaurant, corner of Highway 20 and Whidbey here in Oak Harbor. Go see Tony and our friends there. Get the best beers in town. You can get them in a growler. You can get them in a can. You can drink at bar side. Get some beer food. Watch some games. Do those things. So go see Flyers. Thanks for your support.
Perfect. Hey, smooth my balls. Winter's coming. Got to keep it clean. Smooth my balls. Go to the website, www.smoothmyballs.com/guysbeersports.com. Get your 15% off on all your grooming items. Your boys will love you. It'll be good.
Your whole family will love you because nothing is better for a funk situation than having thermals on all day or trying to stay warm.
Before we get into this week one preview, and honestly, by that point, Thursday would have happened, so we'll just see if we're prognosticators at that point. I wanted to talk about something that actually, I'm certain is near and dear to your heart. It affected everybody 20 years ago on September 11th. It was the full reason why I joined the military. And it's hard to believe it's been 20 years. And that's something I think that changed the innocence of our nations, basically of the Western world, changed everything on that day. And man, even sports, we saw some very interesting things happen in the world of sports during that time as well. When you think about it, just sports going to happen. Are they going to come back to it? And just how much of an escape it was. And then to see heroes come out of that, giving up NFL contracts in order to go and serve their country. Just unbelievable. Unbelievable. Brad, I don't know what else to say. It was just amazing, though, that even in our country, in Canada, how much of that affected us. And being an American, I can only imagine how much more it would have affected you all there.
Yeah, I think wasn't the first time that there had been an attack on American soil, right? You go back to Pearl Harbor and just the significance of December 7th. I think the part that shook everybody up is that it wasn't a military effort. It wasn't, someone else's. It was, but it wasn't their military planes. It was something that we all take for granted, being able to travel around the world on commercial airliners and, watching it happen. I remember vividly where I was. I just had moved to Kansas and I was sitting in my apartment, watching the news and saw, Tower One on fire, and everyone was trying to figure out what had happened. And I immediately called my dad. I was 22 years old at that point and was talking to him back here in Seattle, and we were on the phone and we watched the second plane smash into the towers. And I just remember a sense of anxiety. I don't know that as necessarily fear, just understanding how big the country is, but just not knowing what was next and where we were going. And then, throughout the day, and you have to think back now, like it's easy to think in 2021 that we have access to all this information, almost in real time. And, there'd probably be live streams everywhere of what was going on in the streets, should that happen today. But there wasn't that at that point. You were limited to what you could see on TV, and there wasn't social media. And so you just were calling your friends and checking in. And, I think there was two things that were very apparent to me. It was one, I had just flown, I just moved to Kansas. I'd moved there 3 days prior, I believe, something like that. And everyone that dropped me at the airport had walked me to the gate. Remember that used to be a thing. Your friends could, and whoever was with you could bring you all the way to watch you board the plane. They could meet you at the gate when you landed. And, the next time that I flew home, which was, just a couple months later, it was security, and it was all so crazy. That was just very different. And then we were going to the first sporting event shortly thereafter, and watching I was home in Seattle. It was in December that same year, and watching a Seahawks game, and the Seattle Stadium is by the airport, and watching a plane. You could see the plane over the top of the edge of the stadium, and the whole stadium just kind of had a real quiet hush as we all watched this plane, just to make sure it wasn't about to land on us. And it was just an eerie feeling just of that was even a threat. And so those things are crazy. I remember and it's just the unfortunate part is how we began to treat other people that didn't look like us. That was a thing too. I remember not long after that getting on an airplane and sitting next to a Muslim man who was, clearly Muslim, just in the way he dressed, and like the entire plane was just staring at him, and sitting next to him, and he was a real cool guy, man. And we were just, we were chatting right before the thing, and you could tell he was nervous, and I was just trying to put him at ease, because I don't have those same feelings. I knew I wasn't worried about him. But we were getting ready to take out at sunset, and we were taking off, and he asked me, he goes, "Hey," we goes, "which way do you think is west?" It's right out there out that window, and he was like, "Well, I have to pray." And I was just like, man, I thought to myself, this is not, I remember just making eye contact with people, and they were, just almost like that. You got that guy kind of, when you're out and people are, trying to see who's on whose sides. And it was just super uncomfortable feeling for me, just knowing that guy was just trying to exercise his religious freedoms, and, was in a spot. And I was like, man, it's right that way. I was like, but I gotta tell you, buddy, like, you do what you can do, but, try not to be like, just be smart, like just be smart. And, so he pulled himself up and, looked out the window and said his little prayer. And I just kind of made eye contact with all the people I thought were aggressive, and, but it was just super telling to me that that's where we became. And maybe that was already there. I didn't know it before then, that there was a prejudice there for that.
Yeah. I'll tell you, like, being a brown person, I mean, it became difficult for about a decade after traveling for me.
So. Yeah, I can only imagine. I don't know. I mean, I just,
feel that was the day that all of the innocence was lost. And
I mean, that's the day the veil got ripped back.
That's it.
I think we're paying for it right now. I think it's so politically charged with, leaving the Middle East for, the United States. And I mean, to be honest, the whole thing is very difficult for me.
I guess my biggest thing about the withdrawal, being a veteran, knowing veterans have gone there, is that there's some people that are feeling hopelessness. What was it all for? I've lost friends there. Please reach out to other veterans. We're always there to listen. I can't even imagine what some people might be feeling on that there. But this is a whole separate conversation. But I just wanted to say something about it because, it was the year that the whole time, like you said, the veil was torn back. But it was also a time where I've seen sports bring people back together in a way. And just to be that first team to go out there after that, go out there and play your baseball game, go out there and play your play football. And just to have everybody coming around you and together and just
well, it's really just a tell of why we enjoy sports so much anyway, right? It's just such a
that's it.
It crosses all these boundaries, and it's a way to bring communities together, and to find some unity and some common ground. I mean, we won't. It's it's you find the common ground most in my life in sports. I mean, that's the thing. You're visiting somewhere and you see someone with a team that you're supportive of. You can yell something across the whatever, and get a response, and it just makes you feel comfortable that you're with like-minded folks. And you're not. It's a false sense of security, right? But it's
but is it though? Because it's like you're there with like-minded
right? Because if you're walking around in somewhere that's you're not familiar with, and you're like nervous about where you are because you might get lost or all those things, and you see another Seahawks fan, you're like, "Go Hawks!" and they're like, "Go Hawks!" and you're like, "Yeah, I feel good." You still know where you're going. Like, it's just but it's
one of the only places where it seems like genders, colors.
Yes, I don't disagree with you at all.
Religion.
Yes, I'm just saying accepted. It doesn't erase your anxiety. It just makes you feel better for a minute. It's not a big deal. Maybe not.
Week 1 of the NFL kicking off.
It's here.
My goodness. So Thursday night's game will have already happened by the time this comes out. But what we're going to do, we're going to go through this list of week.
Yeah, I mean, it's not a big stretch though, right? It's Dallas at Tampa. Yeah, I mean, Dallas, first of all, they're missing Zach Martin, who's their best offensive guard or lineman.
Yeah.
Ezekiel Elliott said that most of his big runs happen behind him. He's called him their best offensive player last night.
Yeah. Yeah.
He's out. What other chances Dallas have?
Not much. I mean, Dak Prescott, maybe he pulls out something amazing in his first game.
Tampa's returning 21 of 22 starters.
I know.
What are they going to do? Dak Prescott hasn't taken meaningful snaps since when?
Yeah, I know. Since what, week 4 of the NFL?
The last time he blew his ankle out. You think he's got a little bit of rust and maybe a little bit of guts? And I don't see Tommy losing on opening night. I just don't see it. But
I mean, it happened last season. He lost.
Cowboy fans, feel free to die. Yeah, but that was a new system with no off season. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like talking about a year with everyone back that he knows.
Yeah. Oh no, I agree with you. And if anything, the Buccaneers got better. If anything.
Yeah.
But I'm there. I'm looking at it. I'm still calling Buccaneers by 2 touchdowns. It's going to be like 35-20.
Be like a snoozer.
Yeah. Like, I think the Bucs are going to run away.
Yeah, it's a home opener. So they're going to get their best game. Philadelphia, Atlanta.
Yeah, Philadelphia, Atlanta. Well, this is interesting because Hurts, this is his first home opener going up against the wily veteran, Matt Ryan. Atlanta's got a lot of things to prove. So does Philadelphia. I say it's going to be a field goal, Falcons.
Yeah, I think we're going to see who Philadelphia is. We start to see who it is. Atlanta's, restructured a lot of things. Their offense is new, minus, one of the greatest, if not the greatest.
Wide receivers. Yeah.
Big subtraction for them. Mm-hmm. But maybe it goes, maybe it moves out better. Maybe we see an offense resurgence like we saw last year in Cleveland when OBJ went down, and all of a sudden the offense got better because they weren't looking at OBJ the entire time. I don't know the answer to that, but I agree. I think Atlanta comes out. I think I don't know what the rest of the schedule looks like, but I imagine the NFC East is going to go 0-4 this week.
Yeah. Well, let's bring it to Seahawks Colts in Indianapolis.
Why are you jumping the schedule?
It's the same time.
So it's Pittsburgh and Buffalo, but I guess we could talk about my team first.
Let's talk about your team first. That's right.
I mean, it'll be interesting. I think Carson Wentz has a big chip on his shoulder. I think the last time that he played well was under Frank Wright, who's now his head coach. They've had some injuries. They've got a dynamic running back in Jonathan Taylor. They'll be down their number one wide receiver in T.Y. Hilton. Defensively, they're very stout. I think it's they're playing in a dome, which is nice for both teams. Seattle's out to prove something after making a change at offensive coordinator and bringing in those weapons. So hopefully we saw a bit of that tempo in the preseason, especially the last game. We haven't seen Russell run that offense yet. Excited to see that. I don't know that Indianapolis has the horses to keep up with Seattle if they're at full capacity. But the catch is that Seattle's defense is new from a talent standpoint, and so I think that the front seven is pretty set and was playing well, but I don't know about the back end. So we haven't seen Jamal Adams in the preseason. We didn't see Quandre Diggs. We know what those two can do. So I think that's Seattle by 10. But
yeah, I think that's a safe assumption as well. I mean, didn't the quarterback there for the Colts didn't he contract over there?
Carson Wentz.
Yeah, Carson Wentz. He had a little sideline issue.
Yeah, but
so
most teams are going to deal with that, right? So it was interesting, that Dallas has already had more people on the COVID list this year than they had all of last year. Not wild.
Did that surprise you?
A little bit.
Huh.
I think some of it is, yeah, but you've got maybe a false sense of security in this vaccine. The vaccine's not a 100% deal, right? So you should probably still.
Well, it's interesting. It's interesting because I'm listening to the NFL Network about this one scientist came on, and he said that they should start going by the immunity score, not just about the vaccine, but if you had COVID and then you got the vaccine, your immunity score should be off the charts. But let's just say that you just got the vaccine and you are susceptible to colds and everything, your immunity score might be a little bit lower. So I think you're right. There's a false insecurity of getting the vaccine. Having said that, though,
but you know what? If I remember correctly, I think that Zach Martin had COVID at the end of last year, and then he got vaccinated, and now he has it again. So
wow.
I think that no one knows anything, and that's the key message, kids. Is hey, be safe out there. Whatever, if you don't want to get cold flu in the in the cold and flu season, and you take precautions like washing your hands and not letting people sneeze in your mouth and in your eyeballs, like let's just do that now. Let's just live that way. Let's see what we can do. There's enough medical.
Right. So talking about Texas here, Jaguars, Texans.
Man, Urban Meyer couldn't get a better gift.
Right? I think it's Jaguars by 2 touchdowns very easily.
Trevor Lawrence gets on a roll. I don't know. I don't know who still plays defense in Houston. There seems to be a mass exodus from there.
Talk about who's the head coach there in Houston right now. I forget his name. I forget his name because they just hired him. And talk about walking into.
He didn't get the job that he thought he was getting. I'll tell you that right now.
Yeah. Like you're walking into a huge explosion. I mean, unfortunately, I think Houston's going to have same as what they had last season, right? It's just a lot of losses.
Yeah, it's
sad.
interesting. Yeah, man, the whole thing is just interesting because they've got Brandon Cooks and Tyrod Taylor. That's their offense.
Mm-hmm. Nothing wrong with Tyrod, but the thing is, though, is that Trevor Lawrence, all eyes are going to be on him, and if this is what I think it's going to be, this might just make his season. Yeah.
I think everyone, even in Vegas, I think you can't get good odds on them being. You get them being the number one pick is like the hottest thing in the world, right? So
yeah, and he just has to get out there, and I think that this will definitely it will enhance his confidence, if anything. If he trounce over Houston. That just gives you confidence for the next week.
Yeah, they're gonna have I don't know what their schedule looks like, but it feels like they're gonna have a rough.
They have a softer start And then the second half of the season, it starts going up.
Still don't think they're going to get a win, though. That's what I'm saying. Like, that's just David Coley is the coach of the Texans. David Coley.
That's
sorry,
it, David Coley. Yeah.
You fell into the fire, and we're sorry we didn't know.
All right. Let's go to the Steelers-Bills. I know you wanted to get there.
Well, this was next on my list. It just felt like we weren't going to miss a game and put them alphabetically or whatever.
I think the Bills are going to beat the Steelers. I do. I think it's going to be close, though. I think it's going to be by 1 touchdown. Yeah, I do. The Bills, their defense is good. Their offense is off the charts. The Steelers, though, you just don't know with Ben Roethlisberger what is going to happen. You don't. It's a slugfest to start. It is.
I think with the 3 receivers that Pittsburgh runs out, and Chase Claypool and Deontay Johnson and Juju, and then having Najee Harris, who by all accounts was just dominating from the jump, the running back out of Alabama, their first round pick. The slim down, motivated Roethlisberger, and then that Steelers offensive line. You think that they're not going to give your defense fits? I mean,
that's what I'm saying. It's going to be a slugfest. It's not going to be a walk in the park, is what everybody thought for Buffalo. It's not like, like Pittsburgh. I was thinking at first it's like they're done, but then you have a look at some of the additions that they have made, and that running back there during the preseason, he's made some real moves. So don't count Pittsburgh out. Yeah, it makes me nervous. Yeah.
It should. I think Buffalo wins, but I think it's probably less than 6.
Yeah, that's pretty good. Chargers, Washington.
The LA Superchargers.
Yeah, all day. I'm sorry.
I do think that Ryan Fitzpatrick comes out and goes bananas, though.
You know how he is in the beginning of the season, though, right? The first 3 games, he's like, "Oh, they're going to win the Super Bowl," and then all of a sudden, Ryan Fitzpatrick comes back down to earth.
Yeah, that's why he's a good stopgap / backup quarterback. He'll win you 3 games, but he won't win you 6.
All right, what's next on the list here, buddy?
I've got Minnesota, Cincinnati on my list.
Okay, I will go Bengals. 2 touchdowns.
2 touchdowns?
Oh yeah, I think it's a.
You think Joe Burrows likes that knee enough that he's gonna come out swinging?
I think so.
All right.
And why not? Why not? You're playing in Cincy. People are waiting to see you. Yeah.
Maybe he gets some of that magic back from Jamar Chase. Maybe Jamar Chase can stop his drops. Jamar Chase, the first round pick this year at LSU.
Yeah.
Joe Burrow's former teammate.
Now they had some problems. They had some problems there during the preseason. They're really connecting.
I think he had some concentration gaps. He just was dropping the ball a little bit. But we'll see if he picks it up. I mean, between them and the other wide receivers they have, and T. Higgins and Tyler Boyd, and man, they are primed. So Joe Mixon's always a formidable running back. Their offensive line has been put together. I think the question mark really for them is on defense. Dalvin Cook will have a real big day.
It's true. And honestly, I mean, I'm saying 2 touchdowns. I might be completely incorrect. What do you think? What do you say with Cincinnati, Minnesota?
I think it's like a 21-17 game with Cincinnati wins.
A little closer, right? Guess we'll have to see.
Yeah.
Niners and the Lions.
Yeah, we're on the same page here. All right, good job. I don't see how San Francisco doesn't win this game.
Yeah.
I have 0 confidence in Jared Goff.
Yeah.
Dan Campbell's trying to do his thing, and he might be successful. I don't think it's this year. I think it's next year when he gets all of his players in and gets what he wants to get. Detroit lost their number 1 running back. I'm sorry, their number 1 wide receiver in Kenny Golladay. He's now with the Giants. I don't have high expectations for Detroit, but I think San Francisco wins big, and that hurts my feelings.
Now, who is starting that Niners game?
Oh, Jimmy Garoppolo's starting that game.
He is.
I think Trey Lance.
I
think Trey Lance gets 8 snaps.
Yeah. And I think San
Francisco is going to run out, and they're going to platoon their quarterback, and they probably don't do it every week. They probably do it so that you have something to plan for that takes away from you planning for just a traditional offense. That's a very Shanahan thing to do. And good for them if they can do it.
Who's another head coach to try to do that with 2 quarterbacks, though?
I don't know, but they have
Tom Landry.
But
Dallas.
we just saw, I mean, Sean Payton in New Orleans had success with Drew Brees and Taysom Hill, right?
Yeah.
I think you can see a similar spot. And you're talking about moving around, someone's preparation for the week, right? You're trying to get someone off rhythm. That's what it is. And so, it wouldn't surprise me if there's weeks where Trey Lance doesn't see the field, and then you've prepared for Trey Lance and you don't see him. Like, that's a waste of whatever that practice time was. And so
it'll be interesting.
Kyle Shanahan's always matchup driven, right? If they can stay healthy, they're a formidable team. It's
absolutely. And as you said, there's a lot more players coming back from the COVID list this season for the Niners as well.
Yeah, well, just in the injury list in general. I mean, they were, ACLs.
They were pretty decimated
over there.
Yeah.
They were blowing ACLs out like crazy.
All right.
So they got their defensive lines back and then allegedly healthy, and so we'll see how that goes. I think it's a long day for Detroit.
Jets, Panthers.
I think Sam Darnold gives it to the Jets.
I think so too.
It might be
I think he has some revenge. Yeah.
He's got some weapons for the first time since he was at USC.
Mm-hmm.
He's got a coach that believes in him. I think Carolina's defense is better than the Jets' defense. I don't know if you've been paying attention, but the Jets' defensive line has just been decimated by injuries. All their they've been trading for, your guy Shaq Lawson that had gone to Houston is now in New York.
Right. I have been looking at that. I don't know. Like, I know the Jets got their pick. I know that they were doing all this stuff, but I don't see the Jets.
You're talking about you're talking about a rookie quarterback making his first start on the road.
Yeah. And it's not Trevor Lawrence. That's exactly it. It's not Trevor Lawrence. That's the biggest thing. It's like Trevor Lawrence is starting on the road as well. I have in my head.
But Trevor Lawrence played big games on the road and like, national championships as a freshman, right? Like, they're not the same spot.
No, not at all.
Zach Wilson,
that was the thing. That was the thing.
Zach Wilson came out of BYU. Zach Wilson is a productive quarterback. Zach Wilson will probably be a great pro, but he's not Trevor Lawrence at this stage.
But that was the thing. In this draft, it was just like it was miles apart between first and second.
Yeah. And Zach Wilson might be doing it. They've got Elijah Moore, who's a receiver out of Ole Miss that everyone says is the most polished receiver to come out of the draft in the last 10 years. He might do some things. They've got, fantastic offensive line in New York, but they don't have any real weapons outside of that jump off the page to me. I don't see how they go to Carolina and win.
All right.
Hey, how do you feel? I have one. I just have one.
All right.
I heard this last night. How do you feel that Tom Brady has beaten the Buffalo Bills 30 times in his career?
Yeah.
That's the most anyone has ever beat an individual team, and it's tied with the Jets. He's beat the Jets and the Bills.
Why would you ask me this?
I just want to know how you feel about it.
Well, you know how I feel about it. I just want to see us beat Tom Brady at some point. Now, Tom Brady came out with a great quote this past week. Actually, it would have been about a week and a half ago by this time this airs. But he just feels like the way with the rule changes and everything, the NFL has become now softer and it's more forgiving if you're an offense and you make a mistake. Okay.
Yeah.
Which is true.
Now, the last 10 years. That's a very wise point.
That's exactly it.
Avocado ice cream. It's 10 years.
Yeah, but you know what? He was mentioning, like, if you were to throw in the middle of the field when he was playing against Ray Lewis was there, middle of the field. He's going to take your guy out, take him out. But now, if you were to do that, and the defensive player takes that guy out, all of a sudden the defensive player is getting ejected or whatever, like something ridiculous, 15 yards. It's like, but the thing is that that's the quarterback's mistake. That's not the defensive player's mistake.
Yeah.
Brilliant. I thought it was brilliant. That was the only thing that I actually liked that Tom Brady said in his 20-season career.
Good old Tommy. I hope he wins in New England on the 4th week, just so we can say he beat all 30 teams. Then we just be done with this greatest of all time.
That's something. All right, Browns Chiefs. Wow, what a team to pick for week 1.
I mean, if you really want to see what Cleveland's going to be made of this year, this is it, right? Start the game off hot on the road against the AFC favorite.
Yeah,
Why not?
I mean,
why wouldn't you?
this is true. This is the barometer test. I think Cleveland's got horses they can run.
Yeah, they 100% do. I mean, this isn't
Yeah.
a blowout by Kansas City by any stretch of imagination on paper.
Yeah, like
This
Cleveland's
is
got
what
horses.
this comes down to is if Cleveland's going to Cleveland. That's all this is.
You know what? Very good point.
If Cleveland
We've
plays
seen
up
that.
to their talent, if Cleveland plays to their talent and their coaching and those things, this is going to be a very tight game.
Yeah, I hear
This
that.
is this is like a 38-35 game. This is maybe even an overtime game. This might be the only overtime game week 1.
Yeah. You know what? Not too bad. But you're right, because if Cleveland gets into their own heads mentally, but the thing is, Stefanski, I think, has proven himself now after that last season.
But listen, there's been too much shenanigans for Cleveland for us to write 1 year off and be like, oh, now we're cool.
Very true. Very true.
That's it. That's all there is. They've got to come out. Like how Cleveland's going to go is how they don't have to win in Kansas City. They just have to have a good showing in Kansas City for everyone to feel good about them going forward.
That's very true.
That's all it is to it. I think
Yeah,
I think they probably win the AFC North this year.
Yeah, I think so too. I think they're the favorites. But you're right. I think it's going to be the Chiefs' field goal or less. But you're right.
This feels like one of those games where it's like a last second kick that separates.
Cleveland's got to show up though. If they don't
Yeah.
show up, then I think that's gonna affect them for a few games down the road.
Yep. Well, yeah, they're going to hear it, right? Because their fan base is so tortured that if they lay an egg in Kansas City, they're going to get beat in the media for a week, and then
That's it.
they can all say they don't listen to the media, and they don't, but whatever. We all know that's.
Cleveland's not a big city, man. If you're living there as a football player, you're walking around and get your groceries at Kroger's, which you're probably never. None of them are shopping at Kroger's.
Bro, no,
Yeah.
you're discounting a lot of things. They're 100% shopping in Kroger's.
Anyways, you're at Kroger's.
Is there even a whole? Is there a Whole Foods in Cleveland?
I believe so, but you're out there doing your shopping. I'm sure there's somebody out there. Hey,
Oh, and more than somebody.
Odell.
All
right. Dolphins, Patriots, usually always a great matchup. You could have the two worst teams showing up, but they show up for each other.
I love this game.
Yeah,
You got
Yeah.
Tua versus Mac Jones, right? As smacks of a Alabama summer scrimmage. I love it. I think this is a great game.
I agree too.
I think New England. Never mind.
I can't say that New England's going to get spanked because I don't trust Tua either. You know what I mean?
I don't
It's
think
like,
that either one gets spanked. I think.
yeah,
I was gonna say I think Miami wins on the road, but it just felt so. It just tasted gross on the way out. I couldn't say it.
I'm going to tell you, it's going to be the team that makes the more mistakes than the other. Okay, that's basically.
I thought you were
what
gonna
I'm
say
into.
the team that scores the most points is gonna win. Like, yeah, probably the safe bet, Sean. The team that scores
No,
the most
I'm just
points,
saying,
they
somebody's gonna
usually
make-
win. They
One of
usually
these
win.
teams are going to make a gross mistake, and that's going to be the game. That's exactly what's going to happen. But I think that we're going to be looking at a touchdown victory for the Patriots.
Yeah, it's gonna be Mac Jones making a terrible decision to throw the ball late and turn it over, and Bill's gonna lose his mind, and it's gonna hit Cam Newton on his hotline bling late that night and trying to get him to come back.
Yeah. Oh, Bill. I don't
What
know.
it feels like.
Well-
It feels like Bill, left his old wife for a new wife, and that new wife's not so great.
What do you mean you don't know how to cook? I honestly, I'm telling you, because it's going to be one of these quarterbacks laying it, like just making a huge mistake. And that's
I mean, they've got so much youth in New England, right? I mean, their
Yeah.
running backs are all new and young outside James White, and
but no Stephon Gilmore for the first 6 weeks, though.
yeah. Well, I don't think that Stephon Gilmore ever takes another snap in New England, to be honest with you. So
Hey, Stephon Gilmore, 2 years ago, he's just 2 years removed from Defensive Player of the Year.
I'm not saying he's not worth it. I don't think that those
Yeah.
two like each other. I don't think he plays there. I think they trade him. I think he's out early.
Maybe.
I think they're working on a deal. I don't think he's. I think that they, he's on that 6-week list to get traded. That's what I think.
All right, Broncos Giants.
Yeah, I mean, Danny Denver takes a step forward. I don't know that they'll be competing with the Los Angeles Chargers for second in the AFC West. You gotta love what they're doing there on offense. They've got some real studs at receiver now for once. Teddy Bridgewater, who's not prolific by any stretch, but he's better than Drew Lock. The defense is still there. They've got that mile-high advantage, for half of the season, and so couple that with the Giants looking terrible as an organization.
Yes.
Not sure if Saquon's going to play. Daniel Jones looks pedestrian at best most of the time. Their receivers are who they are. They're all just middle-of-the-road folks on defense. I don't know if they're any better. I think Denver wins by double digits on the road to open the year.
I agree. I think that this is a great gift for Teddy Bridgewater to get your confidence going, and you get to spank this team.
Yeah, I think.
All right. That leads me now to the Packers and the Saints playing in Houston.
Yeah,
or is it Jacksonville? They're playing in Jacksonville.
They're playing Jacksonville.
That's Jacksonville. That's right. So
there's a game in Houston. And so
that's right. Do you think Dave Sadler is going to be trying to get tickets for this one? Neither of his teams.
Oh, probably. I mean, Dave is crazy if he's not trying to go to this game.
Yeah. Packers are going to take out the Saints. I mean, I'd be surprised if it's anything but that.
You're doing my guy Jameis all wrong. Let's tell you that.
I know you have Jameis picked as your big thing there, leading the league in passing this year.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, though, you have Aaron Rodgers coming back with Randall Cobb, Devontae Adams. Pretty good defense. Put Devontae Adams behind
Randall Cobb.
I'm just saying there's a lot of weapons now for Aaron to play with.
There is. Aaron's got some offensive line issues.
Yes, he does.
He really might have all the weapons, but if he ain't got time to throw the ball, then we'll see. Aaron gets the ball, it's so great. I tongue-in-cheek say that New Orleans would win. Green Bay wins this game. I don't see how they don't. There's too much turnover in New Orleans. And Jameis throws the ball over the field. I don't know what New Orleans' defense is going to look like. I know what Green Bay's defense is going to look like. I know that Jameis is probably, if he throws 4 touchdowns, he'll throw 4 picks. You can't give Aaron Rodgers the ball that many times.
No.
I
hear you.
Green Bay's on a mission. We're gonna see. We're gonna see what those boys are made out of this year. We'll see what kind of leader Aaron Rodgers is. I think he's. I don't know that he's done in Green Bay, but I think he would be happy to be done in Green Bay. Yeah. Especially if he won. And so we'll see what kind of leader he is. We'll see how he can get that team to rally. I think that they're one of the favorites in the NFC to win the division or the conference, I guess is probably a better way to put it. But yeah.
All right.
It all starts here week 1.
Bears Rams. Red Rifle. The Red Rifle.
The Red Rifle.
The Red Rifle against your boy Matthew Stafford.
Yeah. Dave, plug your ears. You're not going to like this. And I'm sure you'll have something to say about it. But I think the Rams win big. The Rams defense is too much for Andy Dalton. I don't know how they can score on the Rams defense. I think Jalen Ramsey makes Andy Dalton his boy a couple of times. Maybe with an interception. And I think Matt Stafford's excited playing an offense that's wide open. All those weapons, that offensive line. So many weapons at home, not in Chicago.
Mm-hmm.
Andy
Dalton is on borrowed time.
Yeah. I mean, I think the best thing for Chicago fans is that they go lay an egg in LA.
Yep.
To be honest with you, right? Because we see Justin Fields sooner.
Yep.
I think Andy lays 2 eggs coming out of the gate, and Justin Fields is starting in week 3. But
and it's sad because this is somebody that he was
it's not sad.
He was in the running for MVP not even that long ago. Even that long ago.
It's been a while.
And now
he's great last year in Dallas.
Yeah, now he's just an afterthought.
He's not an afterthought. He's still making a couple $1 million a year to be a backup. It's a great job.
But he's a starter.
He throws, but he won't be. He can go. He can make $8 million a year throwing 10 passes a week.
And then next year he's what? Ryan Fitzpatrick. He's just making the rounds. Is that it?
Yeah, it's not a bad
Probably.
gig if you can get it.
That's it. Well, I mean, hey, Ryan Fitzpatrick has made a career of it. So
He's made real money.
yeah, and he's got records. He's got records.
He's been a productive football player. You say you want to say about Fitzmagic, but man, he don't know my name. I'll tell you that.
Yep. All right. To round this all up,
Did we talk
Ravens.
about Arizona and Tennessee? I feel like we missed the game.
oh, we did. We totally did.
And by we, I mean you. With you jumping
How is it
around
me?
all over your list.
It's a 50-50 symbiotic thing. I don't know.
Well, I was letting you run the list since you were trying to go out older. And so.
Wow. Okay. You
We'll
could put that one on
Ladies and
me.
gentlemen, we'll get into our groove here for picking games because clearly we are not as sharp as we once were. But we are excited for football season. This is the reason I agreed to do this podcast.
Right.
Arizona,
Titans.
Tennessee.
Titans are all over Arizona.
Yeah, I'll buy that. By a lot. I think they've
Yeah.
got some things to prove. I think Mike Vrabel is such a good coach. I don't know that he's the smartest coach, but man, he knows how to get those boys going.
Oh yeah.
I think they want to unveil their new weapons. You know, when I say that, I think AJ Brown's more of a weapon now than he was last year, just because of the addition of Julio Jones. And we'll see what Derrick
Still
Henry
got
does.
Derrick Henry.
Derrick
You
Henry's
got
going
Matt.
to get somebody, right?
Yeah.
Like, we know that. You know, Arizona is writing checks they can't cash, I think, with their hype right now. I don't believe in Kyler Murray. I don't know
No,
who's gonna
I
run
think
the ball
Kyler
for
Murray
them.
got lucky. I mean, that whole entire victory against Buffalo, for crying out loud. I mean,
here we
thank
go.
goodness you had the tallest receiver out there when you threw that Hail Mary. He had no business
He had
winning
the
that
tallest
game.
receiver out there. He just had the best receiver out there. DeAndre Hopkins is
Well,
maybe the best receiver in football.
yeah. I'm just saying that the Cardinals, there was a little bit of luck in the victories they got last
I just don't like
season,
Cliff
and I'm sorry.
Kingsbury. I saw any team led by Cliff Kingsbury, I'm just going to, whatever. Like, that guy can kick a big rock all the way home and get lost.
All right, now to wrap it up, Ravens Raiders. There's a lot riding for both organizations.
Listen, I would like to say this. I cannot believe this is a Monday night game. Outside of the fact that it's in Las Vegas and this must be where the league wanted to be on Monday night. But here we are.
I wouldn't have picked it as the Monday night game. No, but we don't pick.
No, I think, man, I mean, you've got to think that Las Vegas is like the fourth best team in that division. This year.
Yeah, I think the Ravens are going to beat the Raiders, but the Ravens are not the scary Ravens that they were even just a couple of seasons ago. A lot of defensive fractions on that team. And I think that they're going to figure out their quarterback there at some point. He's a mobile quarterback.
Yeah, I disagree. I think Baltimore takes a step forward this year. So
Wow.
I think
Okay, well, we're at odds.
I think they blow the Raiders out of them on Monday night.
I do. And I don't think the Raiders have a chance. It's sad to
And they have
say.
a chance. They're going to score, right? They can't stop nobody. That's their problem.
Yeah.
John Gruden.
Ever
finally
since
has the
Gruden's
offense.
gone over there, he's just made that team, I don't know, not better. They were a
I thought it was
playoff
hilarious
team.
that he was. Well, I think he realizes now he probably should have kept Khalil Mack. You know, since he was on the hotline in the offseason trying to get him back. You know, that defense isn't going to stop anybody. They're not going to stop Baltimore, right? I mean, we've seen what Gus Edwards can do running with Lamar Jackson. They're gonna go back to their roots. It's gonna be a heavy RPO, which is a run pass option, right?
Yeah.
We're gonna see that go through. I would say that Baltimore has two serviceable tight ends now, so they can run a two tight end set. And what are you gonna do, right? It flashes back to Pete Carroll's offense of 7 years ago with a tight end heavy set, run pass option for a mobile quarterback. Serviceable running game, and then you've got Hollywood Brown over the top that's a burner that can get it done. I just think they score. And I think, to your point, they've had some defections on defense, but they've also rounded it back out. I think that scheme still fits their talent. I think Baltimore is a playoff team this year, and I don't think the Raiders are. So Baltimore by a lot.
I'll go along with you that this Baltimore's a playoff team. I don't think they're winning the North. I don't think they're winning the AFC North, but they are a playoff team. The Raiders are. John Gruden comes back and just destroys this team. And
no. Listen, that's revisionist history. That team was terrible before John Gruden got there. They were atrocious. Go look it up. They were
a postseason team.
They were not.
The year before, they were a postseason team.
They were not.
Okay.
Jack Del Rio was their coach, and they were not in the postseason. Oakland likes winners. Oakland likes winners.
Yeah, I don't know if Vegas does.
Guess where they don't play anymore.
Yeah, I was just going to say, I don't think Vegas does. Vegas doesn't care. Yeah.
Well, Vegas likes money, and this is a draw. Because I tell you, I mean, for me to get from Seattle to Vegas to watch a game is cheap.
Yep.
I'm talking about like $300 and a ticket.
Complain.
No, it's easy. Days. The temperature's there. Man, poolside. Watch some football. Man, I should have paid attention and just gone down this weekend and just gone on Monday for this game and sat in a sports book on Sunday and just watched all the games on the TV. If
probably the move.
Well, listen, it would have been if I'm not real fond of sitting in the sports book for 7.5 hours with a mask on when I could just sit at home and watch Red Zone.
Yeah.
From the comfort of my own home with my boy Scott Hansen. That's my guy. You can't tell me nothing about this weekend. You know where to find me. We just had a great weekend of college football. So it feels like a miss. I'll talk about that. Clemson and Georgia going off. Clemson just having an off day and Georgia winning, and now we got to hear about that for the next couple of weeks until Georgia comes back down to earth.
And Ohio State almost pooched it there. Last week. Almost did. It was a close game.
We are going to have some real deep discussions here about college football in the coming weeks because, college football is back to the vengeance. And so it's great to see it.
It feels different, though. Like when you see Alabama or Clemson without some of their stars that they have because they've been drafted, right? Yep. It's different now. And I mean,
except Alabama didn't miss a beat, right? I mean, that's...
Yeah, I know. But, I mean, Nick Saban...
Yeah, listen, shout out to Alabama for not playing, Moorhead Community College on the first game of the year like they normally do.
Yeah.
But going to play in Miami?
Yeah.
Was ranked 14th.
That's exactly it.
Smoke checking them?
Yeah. Well, I mean, what do you do when you want to build confidence? You go out there and you spank on a team that's no good. Right?
I know, but they've always done that against some like lower level division. And it's always been my biggest beef is that, you got the perennial powerhouse playing some joke of a school that doesn't belong in the stadium.
But you know what? Yeah, kudos to them for actually putting it out
Nick Saban, you've moved up a notch on my coaching respect list. The notch 1.
Yeah, you still want to punch his face, though, don't you?
I'd kick him in his knee. It'd probably do more damage.
Well, this rounds up, I think, another week here at Guys Beer Sports.
That's where we are. As always, kids, shout out to our sponsors. I can't say it, man. I always want to say, I always want to call it Brodega Brawl, and I don't know why. But Brodega.
Brodega?
Yeah. Brodega.
Brodega Brawl.
Bodega Brawl. Shout out to our friends there, Flyers Brewery and Smooth My Balls. Shout out to those folks. And whoever else you hear on the pre-roll, mid-roll, and end roll. We support those folks as well, and we thank them for their belief in us. Till next time, kids, be good at it.
Right up.
You've listened to the podcast, but now it's time to visit us in our virtual sports bar. Get all of our info at guysbeersports.com, where you can find all the ways to connect with us. Watch for live conversations with Brad and Sean that happen throughout the week, and join in with your favorite local beer. You can share your thoughts in the conversation comments with your own uploaded videos, or even join us as a guest live commentator. The GBS Virtual Sports Bar is open for business. Come on in, boys and girls.